Hello YouTube and welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. We are going to be watching a Zerg vs Zerg. This is again part of the Nation Wars, which concluded in early January. Now this is going to be the first series of Ukraine versus Finland. Now we're going to have DIMAGA versus Wallfacer. As I said, two Zergs. Let's start off with DIMAGA, who's on the top or bottom right hand side here. He is playing as a Zerg, spawning as red. He's on Team Monolith, and he is from the Ukraine. Now his opponent is Wallfacer, also known as ZhuGeLiang, who I'm not sure which one is his main one. I think that Wallfacer is actually the alternate ID, but maybe he's using it right now. Now he is on Team Menace.fi, which obviously stands for Finland, and he is representing Finland as well in this tournament. Now, let's jump into the game, continue on with what's going on. Looks like we have two different beginnings here for both of our players. Looks like DIMAGA interested in an early pool with a double extractor trick, whereas Wallfacer opted to go for the early expansion, but not onto the gold base. So that is quite interesting. We're going to see how this one develops. Of course, if DIMAGA puts on too much aggression at the beginning, that could very well go in his favor when Wallfacer has absolutely nothing to defend against it. Now, this series is going to be brought to you with another, I suppose, question of the series. I need to make up a name for it. If you want to leave me something, please do that in the comment section below. My question for this series is going to be: how do you feel about the marine and tank composition meta that is currently going around with Terran? It seems to be the most popular one, and in Terran versus Terran, that's pretty much all you see. So all you see is marines, medevacs, and siege tanks, which are constantly lifted up by the medevacs. How do you feel about that? So let's see these Zerglings rushing into this base now. At this point, still no Zerglings up for Wallfacer, but they're almost there at this point. They're almost complete. He's going to start doing damage to this hatchery. I don't think he's going to get it down. Definitely not going to be able to get enough damage onto that. Let's see how it continues on here. Now just doing little puck shots at the Zerglings. Of course, he doesn't want to engage full on because he has a little bit less Zerglings here. And it looks like he's continuing his aggression onto that hatchery. About 760 health left on it. And let's see. Okay, he's managing to take out a few of the Zerglings, but not everything. I mean, it's still a very neck and neck fight. I mean, 12 army supply for each. I think that because Wallfacer started off with the hatchery first, he's going to be in a little bit of a better position. But at the same time, the drone count is actually favoring DIMAGA, so that is definitely interesting. He started off with the earlier pool, but he's still ahead on supply in terms of worker count, which I find quite fascinating right now. He's definitely played this out very well. Of course, there is also no bailing now, so that could contribute to the fact that he's doing better. Now let's see, this base is almost fully saturated. That is a spine crawler, just in case we're going to see bailings. Now the spine crawler positioning here is actually quite clever. It's going to basically do a big defensive circle like this, which is going to be very useful for defending. Well, correction, it's more like this. It's probably more accurate. So he's obviously able to take out Zerglings or Banelings coming around here, but they have to make a big circle to avoid the spine crawler. On the other side, they can't get into the base without taking at least some damage, because of course he can focus down those Banelings. Now if the Baneling somehow manages to get into the mineral line, of course the drones can start kiting around like this, just avoiding that Baneling for as long as possible until the spine crawler takes care of business. Now just to note, it does look like Wallfacer has opted to go for a third base already. Now has that been spotted? Let's quickly have a look. Yes, it has indeed. And he has roaches for himself. So the question is going to be what he's going to do after this. Is he going to continue on with an aggressive push like this, or is he going to try to macro up himself? Because at the moment, oh, actually that's a nice defense there with 3 queens and a spine crawler behind. 1 queen actually looking like he's going to get taken out here, and all the Zerglings stream straight in there. Looks like the actual Banelings get taken out quite quickly. Double gas coming inside the main base here, so that's going to bring him up to a total of 4. Evolution chamber is being spotted as well. Now correct me if I'm wrong, I think only 1 drone got taken out. That was actually inside this main base here. Looking at worker supply, they're very even right now, so both players are going to be neck and neck in terms of supply. The only difference really is that DIMAGA does have those 2 extra gases. Correction, yeah, they're not anymore. Now looks like Wallfacer has his own 2 extra gases. So Wallfacer's economy is going to start shooting up as soon as this is fully saturated, which it is. Let's have a quick look at that. So there we go. Already starting to take effect. Now that is huge. The timing of that is going to be very important. If you notice that Wallfacer is going to start getting both upgrades and units at the same time. He also has a layer about to complete. Whereas DIMAGA, I mean, he doesn't even have ZhuGeLiang speed, which is definitely a bit of a problem. I mean, he's not able to do any significant Ling run-bys. And it doesn't appear that he's making as many roaches either, so it's going to be a little bit of a tough situation for him to have to fend off if he's not prepared for it. Because at the moment he's quite hurting on economy. Think about it. He's just expanded and he doesn't have, you know, a whole lot of minerals to basically create units. Now that he's going to have the gold base up, he is going to catch up, but the question is going to be, is Wallfacer going to give him the light of day to do that? If he gives him time, of course, DIMAGA will be able to catch up, he'll be able to build up his army, but it's really dependent on whether he actually lets him. So let's see how that plays out. Honestly, I do have a strange suspicion that this is going to be enough time for him. I mean, the army supply is about 25 in favor of Wallfacer. There is a spine crawler here as well. And that's about it for now. So there's also ZhuGeLiangs on the field as well for DIMAGA. Just a few of them on the side there. And let's see how this one plays out. So the huge engage going on here. There's a bit of a concave also Wallfacer with the bigger side. Looks like he's spreading his units out just a little bit. I think that at the moment he's actually about even. So this will definitely start to favor DIMAGA very, very shortly. These blue roaches very quickly getting taken out here. I have to say, very well played here from DIMAGA to manage to hold this off. Now the reinforcements is of course streaming in, and now at this point the blue roaches are starting to come on top, but there is a bunch of roaches about to stream in here. There's so many low roaches as well. He could pick those off quite easily. I think that he really needs to get the roaches recycled into Ravagers. As you can see, when they move off the creep, they become slower, and then that's when DIMAGA's roaches managed to catch up. So DIMAGA actually came out on top in that engage. That last minute reinforcements from DIMAGA was very, very important. He lost the queen, but at the same time he did manage to hold that off quite successfully. Now let's see if there's going to be any further aggression right now. Level 2 ranged ground unit attacks are up for both of our players right now, on the way very shortly. DIMAGA making more and more roaches, so evidently he's interested in making a huge push out very shortly. And look at the amount of resources he has also. DIMAGA is actually quite high on resources, and funny thing is he has a lot of larvae, but he's just not using them up. There we go, just using up some of those resources. Still has 700 minerals and about 1000 gas. I think that he really needs to bring up a higher supply count right now. I mean, if he manages to destroy Wallfacer's forces, even the main force, then at that point, with all the gas and minerals that he has right now, DIMAGA, I mean, he's going to be able to take this game very, very significantly. That sentence made no sense, I know. Sometimes I just say stupid things, and I do apologize for that. Unfortunately, casting is a little bit more difficult than I thought, to be honest. I mean, you have to think right on the spot. Sometimes you might make mistakes, sometimes you might say stupid things. A nice concave here from DIMAGA actually, but it does look like Wallfacer backing on up. And looking at the army supply, let's have a quick look at the count here. 58 roaches for DIMAGA versus 40 for Wallfacer. Wow, that is extremely significant. Now, huge numbers like this could potentially also backfire just a little bit in case there's Ravagers there, because of course the Ravagers will be able to hit very, very nicely on top of a big clumped up group like that. Now, that was a lot of Ravagers. He's just threw out pretty much most of his gas right there just to get a bunch of Ravagers on the field. The army supply is slightly favoring him. Looks like he's going to take out... Oh, he doesn't actually manage to snipe that off. That's a bit unfortunate. Now let's see how this engage is going to go on. I think that DIMAGA probably has the bigger army here, but it's going to all really depend on Micro as well. It's a few nice Ravagers. Look at those Corrosive Biles hitting nicely on those Ravagers. The Concave now starting to go against DIMAGA. Oh, this is actually a huge engage here. And honestly, I think that DIMAGA is still coming out on top here. I think the sheer numbers are still winning him the game here. And there we go. Yes, he is moving forward. He knows that he's got the advantage. Does he have reinforcements streaming in? Doesn't actually look like it. So at this point, he probably would need to back off. With the constant reinforcements from Wallfacer, he would need to not overextend here. Otherwise, he could, of course, lose the game for himself. There we go. Finally, roaches are now on the way down. There's 10 more being produced right now. And this is a constant stream right now. He never remade this queen. This queen is fine. The injects are not that great for him right now. He has been missing a few of those timings. It looks like Wallfacer is actually a little bit better. And just to note, Wallfacer has his base already established here and fully saturated. DIMAGA is just about to finish his here as well. He's got 6 workers there at the moment. It's probably enough to sustain whatever army he's building. Now, army supply slightly favoring DIMAGA. It's about, what is that, 21? Which I suppose is not a small number by any means. Looks like Wallfacer making a bunch of roaches. Look at the amount of those roaches being created right now. Wow. That is quite insane. Now, this base is almost mined out at this point. He's going to need to expand shortly, because this one will be out very, very quickly as well. One problem with gold bases is when you put a bunch of resources in it, if your opponent is actually doing a lot of damage and you're forced to spend resources on defending it, it makes that gold base less and less effective because those minerals get mined out so damn quick. There we go, huge Ravagers. Wow, that was a massive Ravage wave there. I think DIMAGA is going to be massively coming out on top here. Look at the remaining roaches here. DIMAGA pushing ahead. I think he could end it right here, right now. He has a 50 supply lead right now with those massive Ravages landing on the back of those roaches. That was a little bit sloppy by Wallfacer to not move his roaches back. Crazy, crazy engage there. And there we go, pushing straight into the natural. If he kills off this force, that could very well be it. There's a bit of a surround here on the other hand. He is starting to kill a few of those eggs as well. A few of those probes, or drones rather. Does look like there was a bit of a counterattack, but that's not that important. And GG is called. This push into the main game. Very, very well played, I have to say. This brings DIMAGA as the first winner of our best of 7 series between Ukraine and Finland. Okay, and that is the end of that game. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, leave it a thumbs up if you did. I'll see you guys in the next video. And of course, don't forget to leave the comment below on what do you think about the Marine and Siege tank current meta that goes around with Terran. I see it, I think, a little bit too often. I think that the actual difference between builds is a little bit too significant in terms of how much time they take, how much economy they waste. So yeah, let me know what you think, and of course I will respond to any queries as well that you have below. See you guys next time, good luck and take care of yourself.